La Critique believes in living a life full of experiences rather than possessions, which is why we designed a concierge service just for Vegas locals. We're all busy, and can any of us really keep up with all the changes around town? And yet, we still crave quality experiences when we go out and spend our valuable time and money. Now, imagine having a personal assistant whose credentials are quite literally hospitality snob and expert event planner. Seriously, leave all the details to us. Recommendations, personalized. Reservations, done. More time enjoying our city and less time researching it? Absolutely. Subscribe today at lacritiquelv.com or give the gift of service by purchasing a subscription for your favorite person. Welcome to the Vegas Strong Revival Podcast. Buckle up because we're taking Vegas Strong culture to a whole new level this season. I'm Britt Whalen, your host, alongside co-host Desiree Wolf, event professional and host of the Slightly Unfiltered podcast. This season, the gloves are off and we're ditching the scripts for raw, relatable, and even shocking conversations, tackling real issues locals face and bringing in voices from various industries like fitness, charity, aviation, and more. Don't forget to follow us on social media and visit lacritiquelv.com for more about how we're helping residents and local business owners reconnect to the real meaning of hospitality. Ready or not, here we go. Hi, Desiree.
Hi, Britt.
Welcome back to the show.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here.
Yeah, this is so much fun.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so today's topic is really tough.
Whew.
It's one that I hesitate this conversation I hesitate having because it's a tough one. It's got some emotion tied to it. It's something that everybody might have their own opinions on, and I actually might get a lot of fuck you, Britt.
That makes it all the more intriguing.
But I feel so compelled that this conversation needs to happen. So, are you ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
Oh my gosh. Okay. We are talking about the pandemic and customer service / hospitality during the pandemic.
Wah, wah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's, oh gosh. Okay. I'm nervous. I'm actually nervous to talk about this.
Why are you so nervous to talk about this? Don't you think it needs to be talked about?
I do, but I just also like to be liked. And I'm also that person who needs to say the hard things because I can't keep it in.
Yeah. Well, welcome to the club. That's why we're here, sister.
All right, Vegas Strong. Here we go. I know that I am not the only person who experienced some of the things that I experienced. I know that I'm not alone in this, but also if we don't talk about it, if we don't put it out there, I still don't think that it's going to do much good to keep it in, and it needs to come out. It needs to come out. Oh my gosh.
Just talk about it.
I'm stuttering.
Let's just do it. No, you got to. And I think usually when things are hard to talk about, those are the things we need to be talking about. And I think this topic impacted the way that businesses are approaching customer service and the way people are treating other people.
Okay, let's backtrack. 2020, the city shuts down. Mm-hmm. The fucking city shuts down.
Yeah. Chains on the MGM.
Everybody is mandated to stay home. Not everybody does, right? Like kind of that outdoorsy thing happened where everybody's like, oh, well, we don't have to go to work. We're free. We can go hiking or do all the outdoorsy shit, right? Yeah. So a lot of people did that. A lot of people were terrified that they were going to get sick. Mask mandate was implemented citywide. Right? Mm-hmm. Like the entire city, mask mandate. Yep. What else? Like it just, I mean, I feel like that's the gist of it.
In the beginning, yes.
And we had a shutdown, a full-blown shutdown that was 2 weeks long. Yep. Did it, I don't even remember. Did it extend? I feel like it was longer than just 2 weeks.
It did extend. I want to say the full shutdown was 3 weeks, maybe 4.
Yeah.
It feels like in my mind, I'm like, how long ago was that? It feels like a lifetime ago.
And I don't even want to think about it.
Right.
Like that was not an exciting time. So I probably have taken pieces of information and just tucked them so far away. But if I'm honest, what I do remember is the complete shutdown was kind of great in a lot of ways because everybody felt like they got this forced vacation.
Absolutely.
And although I didn't get to see all my friends and family during that time because they had their own concerns and boundaries and limitations on what they were willing to do and interact and whatever, most people during that time were concerned and considerate.
Yes.
Wouldn't you say?
Yes, I agree.
Okay.
I agree.
So mostly it was like, hey, we don't know a lot of the details of what the hell's going on, but hey, let's just be cautious and safe. And just in case you stay home, I'll stay home, right? And people were kind. What I experienced, at least, was a shift in that energy citywide when things started to reopen. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you felt that.
Yeah. I think it was that kind of weirdness of, are we supposed to be doing this? Is this okay? Should everybody open? Is your business better than mine because you're allowed to open? I'm not allowed to open. I totally agree. There was this shift of now we were starting to question things.
And then the government had certain rules, mask rules, for example. Dining was fucking terrible.
Oh,
right?
It was a disaster.
Dumpster
it was a dumpster fire, that too.
Oh, gosh. And so the science, was being debated every single day, all day long on masks. Mm-hmm. So I have a personal story here, and probably the explanation of why this time of my life was extremely difficult was that I was one of those people who severely struggled with wearing a mask. A covering over my face, my nose, and my mouth felt like I was suffocating.
Yeah.
Just this extreme level of claustrophobia and some ideas of being forced to do something that I didn't agree with.
Yeah.
And so like this almost like a power struggle in my
right.
brain,
right.
my emotion, like panic attack level of shit. Okay. Like I ended up eventually finding a plastic mask that attached here on my chin and then was like a shield in front. And because it was clear and it was plastic and it was actually away from my nose and my mouth, only by like an inch and a half, I didn't feel like I was suffocating.
Right.
Okay. So that was the mask I was able to like go to the doctor's office in. But even then, I have stories. Otherwise, I did not wear a mask when I went to Starbucks or to Walmart or to other stores or wherever I was going. Mm-hmm. I couldn't wear a mask, so I didn't wear a mask. I got a lot, significant amounts of harassment, discrimination, threats. Yeah, I was treated so terribly, Desiree, that some of those moments still make me so mad.
Yeah.
Or make me want to cry.
Yeah.
Because when I am standing there as, this 5'5.5" female blonde girl, and I'm being approached by two security guards who are over 6'2", and they're threatening me that they are going to physically remove me out of the store. Mm-hmm. That is terrifying.
Yeah. Now, at what point was this in the mandates? Was this the beginning? Was this months in? Was this when things were opening back up? And
so this was after the actual shutdown had ended.
Okay.
Stores were reopening. This was a sports warehouse that particular event happened at. I won't name names because
those people probably don't even work there anymore.
No, I won't name the business names.
Yeah.
But it was a sports warehouse where I was threatened and intimidated by these men for not having a covering on my face. And this was after I had already spent 8 full minutes in the store unmasked. So like logically in my brain, I'm thinking, I've already been in here for 8 minutes. Why are you approaching me now?
You've done breathed on everything.
Yeah. Yeah, like the logic of it didn't even make sense. If you guys were that strict about your mask protocols, you should have had somebody at the front door before I ever walked in.
Right.
To kick me out now actually doesn't make any logical sense.
Right.
So I guess what I'm saying at the gist of it all is I had a really terrible experience here in Las Vegas. I was treated in such a way by so many people, Desiree. So many people. Name calling. I was threatened, I was harassed, I was judged, I was glared at just for living my life.
Because how dare you?
How dare I?
Yeah.
When in my brain, I'm just like, girl, I don't know you. Lady, I don't fucking know you. You have no idea what I am going through.
Right.
You don't know what I am experiencing in my life right now and why I don't have a mask on. You don't know.
It's crazy to me. See, I was one of those people. I wore the mask, not because I was vehement about it or it was a political stance or anything like. I wore the mask because so what? It's just a slight inconvenience to me. To me, it wasn't that big of a deal.
Yeah.
But I also had the mindset of I'm going to wear the mask. My kids are going to wear the mask because I'd rather be safe than sorry. However, if you don't want to wear your fucking mask, don't wear your fucking mask. Like, in my mind, if the masks worked, I have mine on.
Yeah. Yep.
It should protect me from you as well. And even if it didn't, it was more of just kind of to me, it was just an extra safety thing. I didn't think I was going to die if I took it off.
Okay, so imagine this. Imagine you have a 3-year-old.
Yeah.
During that time, 3, not 2 or younger, 3.
Right.
Who has, I don't know, over a year-long battle with respiratory issues.
Yeah.
And the government is telling you that you have to mask your 3-year-old who has compromised lungs.
I think that's asinine.
If
you've ever put socks on a 3-year-old, you would understand how hard forcing them to wear a mask would be.
I have so much empathy for the parents who struggled with masking their children during that time.
Yeah, I was lucky enough. Mine were older and understood.
But there were also so many people in the world who had legitimate medical reasons they could not and should not wear a mask over their mouth and nose.
I agree.
And it was like the entire city almost unitedly said, we don't care what your excuse is. It does not matter. Your medical reasons are invalid. Fuck you. Do not come into my business. Is that accurate?
I think that's accurate. Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm glad I got that out of my system and that you agreed.
I 100% agree. You know, the funny thing is that it did become like you said, like, fuck you, don't come in, you don't have a mask on, you're not allowed here. But you couldn't get them to tell you why. Well, that's just what they told us to do.
Yeah, the communication, I remember, I will name bomb this one, Starbucks. It was a specific Starbucks that I went to one morning early. They did not have a drive-through, so I walked in. They had all the glass, right, around their employees. So there's no direct breathing contact between a guest ordering and the employee behind the glass. Then there were guests who were seated at tables eating and drinking without masks. And get this, I walk in without the mask. I go up to the glass unmasked. I order. But then I'm approached and said, you need to have your mask on. Oh, but if you're seated, you don't have to wear it.
Right. Because COVID can only get you if you're standing up.
What? Those 2 men right over there are seated.
Speaking freely.
10 feet away from me.
Yeah.
But because they are seated, they do not have to wear a mask. But because I am standing.
Yes.
I have to wear a mask.
Yes.
Just the lunacy, the fucking lunacy of it. I like, as a consumer and as a human, I just could not get my head around it. And so there I am trying to explain my medical reasons for not having a mask on and trying to like understand and comprehend the logic behind all of this. And then as a person in hospitality industry, I'm not getting any hospitality or concern or love or consideration or anything. And all I want to do is buy a fucking coffee.
Yeah. It's like they completely forgot why you're there in their business. Yeah. And businesses became so worried and concerned about following the rules or mask ordinance that they completely forgot how to serve their customers.
I remember the guy behind the counter made me cry that day. And one of the guys who was in the store seated at the table.
One of the
seated unmasked guys actually came up and he comforted me because they called security on me. They wanted me out. So they called security. It was a Starbucks that is associated with a hotel property, not on the Strip.
Okay.
But yeah, so hotel security actually came over to the Starbucks and escalated the situation, and my anxiety went through the fucking roof, and all I wanted was my coffee.
All you wanted was a coffee.
All I wanted was a coffee. And I looked at this young guy who was giving me shit and being really mean, and I just looked at him and I said, "Do you even love people? Like, if you don't love people, why are you in this job?" You know, at the core of hospitality is love.
Yes.
And that morning changed the way that I perceive Starbucks. Oof.
Yeah.
That's a hard statement to say out loud.
Yeah.
Because how many businesses did people have negative experiences at during COVID, during this time of chaos? We go out, we have a terrible experience during that time, and then we've boycotted that particular business.
Right.
Because of that
one
experience.
Yes.
I can only tell you, I've been to Starbucks twice since, and it was, I didn't pay for it.
Yeah.
I haven't given a dime to Starbucks since that happened.
And Starbucks is one of those businesses too that prides themselves on their hospitality and inclusiveness. And
can you tell how nervous I'm like gripping the chair? I am so like kind of just nervous about all of this. On the flip side, Walmart. I don't know. Did you ever go to a Walmart during this time of COVID?
I did. I'm not a big fan of Walmart to begin with, so I try and stay out of there as much as possible. What I experienced at Walmart was not the employees, it was the shoppers. I had a negative experience.
Oh, I was harassed in the parking lot by shoppers. In the Walmart parking lot by shoppers. Yeah.
I didn't personally get involved, but a fight broke out in the produce section.
Oh my gosh.
Because a lady was picking out her watermelons or her apples, I don't even remember, and an older gentleman had walked up next to her and kind of reached across her, and he didn't have a mask on. "Sir, you have to have a mask." And they like screaming and yelling, and then her adult son came over and got in the guy's face, and I think I left the produce section so fast. I was like, well, and then it became an argument in the middle of the produce section between maskers and non-maskers.
Sure. I'm going to give kudos to Walmart Corporation. I don't know if that's their legal name or not, but I'm going to roll with it. Walmart was the only large retail grocer store of any kind in Vegas that during that time allowed me through the doors without harassment. Their greeters continued to greet. Their checkout people, I mean, they don't have many. It's all
it's all self-checkout now.
It's all self-checkout. But the staff, they didn't glare at me for not being masked.
Yeah.
All I had to say was, I have a medical exemption. And they were like, okay, welcome in. Welcome in.
It's amazing what the two words welcome in can do.
Right? Now, this is really interesting. Prior to all of that, I really hadn't been shopping at Walmart a whole ton. I thought I was like upgraded to at least Target, right? I really did. From a social status, I was like, oh, I'm a Target goer. Right?
I shop at Target now.
Yeah. Guess what?
Now you shop at Walmart.
I shop at Walmart and I stopped shopping at Target.
Yeah.
Because Target harassed me as well.
Yeah.
Target made it really difficult to shop there during the mask mandates. Yeah, I'm a Walmart shopper again because I trust their culture as a company. I trust that they have trained their employees to not discriminate.
Yeah.
I trust that Walmart has the attorneys of a lifetime who understand the law of and discrimination laws very thoroughly. And it all trickles down from the top. I believe that Walmart's company culture excelled during this really terrible time in the world, at least here in Vegas. I can speak on it in Vegas. I cannot speak on it for anywhere else.
Right.
But I became a Walmart shopper during that time because I knew I wasn't going to have a panic attack shopping at Walmart.
I have a panic attack shopping at Walmart, but that has nothing to do with masks or the pandemic.
Okay. So why are we even talking about this?
So it influenced how you shop and where you go.
It did. Yeah, because the hospitality was different everywhere, it seemed. And then nobody really understood. Okay, let's talk dining for a second.
Yeah.
In dining, it was this insane level of confusion where it's like, oh, well, as a restaurant owner, I don't know if I'm allowed to do this. I don't know if I'm allowed to do that. I don't know. But we're going to just wing it and make it work, right?
Yeah.
So
everybody sit outside on the patio.
Yeah, everybody, they created all these outdoor seating areas.
Dining patios became the trend.
And in Vegas, it's 115 degrees outside. Venues that couldn't figure out an outdoor dining space didn't get to really open.
No.
Then you had to be masked until you went and sat at the table.
Yep. And there was even one point that you had to be masked while sitting at the table unless you were actively eating.
Yes.
That was my favorite. You could be at the table with the same 4 people that just came from your house, but the 4 of you have to be seated and masked unless you're
eating or
unless
drinking.
You're putting food or drink in your mouth.
Oh, God. That gives me a headache just thinking about it.
Yeah. Even as a mask wearer, I thought that was really dumb.
Okay, let's talk some of the standards that changed in dining. I think the culture of dining changed during this time of
big
the
time.
world. You and I, we dine out. Mm-hmm. You and I are trained in hospitality. We understand the standards. We get it. We understand what things we should be getting. And we understand that we were not getting very much during this time as far as service goes. What were some of the things in your mind or things that stood out to you that were really lacking during that time?
I think there got to a point where people just stopped being kind to others. It was more so about making sure that you're following protocol as a guest and less about providing a positive experience for people.
I remember it being so focused on every employee was hyper focused on the masks.
Yes.
That they forgot about everything else.
Yeah.
One restaurant in particular nailed it and crushed it, in my opinion. And I'm so excited to mention this on this episode right now because they earned our concierge corner last season.
Ooh.
Nora's Italian.
Yeah.
Nora's Italian fucking crushed it.
What did they do?
As far as addressing how to have superior service, meaningful service, actually having hospitality during this crazy time. And what I mean by that is they got those clear masks for their servers so that the guests, once they were seated, could still see the smiles of their employees, right? Because being able to see a smile is way different than imagining somebody has it behind a cloth, right? Being greeted, a huge, huge component of being greeted is that smile.
Yes.
So Nora's crushed it when they gave their employees the clear masks to wear during food service. Additionally, the way that they designed the dining room, they put up these like temporary walls, but the walls had like a vinyl on them that they designed specifically to blend in with the rest of the restaurant.
Interesting.
And so it actually didn't feel like you were
in E.T.'s bubble when they were trying to transport him, because that's how I felt most of the time at a restaurant.
Yeah. No, you just felt like you were still in the restaurant because the little walls around you were still restaurant vibe.
Right.
Like it was still all there and you were still getting the atmosphere that you would expect when you're there. Just the thoughtfulness of those two things alone were superior, in my opinion, as far as dining goes. Kudos to Nora's again. I love you guys. I have no affiliation with you guys, but I fucking love you. I can't think of other venues right off the top of my head that crushed it like that. Can you?
You know what? I do have to, I'm going to name drop. I do have to give a shout out. Lazy Dogs in Summerlin.
Okay.
I met up with a friend and we were just going to have drinks. They maintained that you walked in and it was still, hi, welcome. You know, do you prefer sitting outside? We do have a couple of tables available. They walked you through what was, instead of saying you have to do this. it was very much that welcoming feeling. Servers, they came to the table, they apologized, that they had to wipe things down again. They were paying attention to the people who walked in. I remember walking in and the young gal at the hostess stand was just still super friendly. And you can tell that she was comfortable being there.
Yeah.
And just doing her job, and she was just friendly about it. And like I said, she talked me through, there's a couple of you, do you want to sit outside? And she said, where are you more comfortable sitting? And I thought, wow, that's a great question. Of somebody who gives a crap about where I am, or where I want to sit.
Yeah, that's thoughtful. I think that speaks to the point of, in hospitality, communicating expectations. Mm-hmm. Over communicating is better than no communication.
Yes.
And so when you communicate expectations in a crazy time like that, it's like, oh, wow, now I'm exceeding the guests' expectations because they weren't expecting me to communicate these things. Yes. And now I'm crushing it.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So from a business standpoint, if you're a business owner listening to this, remember, exceeding your guests' expectations at all times should be a high priority.
Yes.
If you want to get repeat customers, you exceed their expectations. You wow them.
Yes.
You make them feel important and valued and welcome and appreciated for being there, right? Like, I think citywide, I don't remember going to a single place where I felt appreciated for being there.
No, very much, whatever I'm trying. I speak a de English. I think there was very much this sense of we were almost a bother.
Yes.
That was something that was very disappointing. And unfortunately, I think that's a habit that carried over.
Oof. Yes. Oh, here we go.
I got her started.
Okay. Yeah. The nuisance.
Yeah.
I'm not a fucking nuisance, okay? I'm here to spend my time, my valuable time, and my money. At your business.
Yes.
And you're treating me like I'm a nuisance? Mm-hmm. Okay. Bye. I will not come back.
Right.
And I think a lot of people have felt that. And I think too many people have felt that. And come on, Vegas, we can do better.
Yes, we can. We are the city of hospitality.
We can do better. We need to do better. If you are not having these conversations with your employees, you need to be. Or you need to be making them listen to this freaking podcast.
Yeah.
Because this shit matters. If you want to survive in this city and not go under, like, I can't tell you how many restaurants failed and didn't survive COVID at all.
Mm-hmm. Tons.
Loyalty matters in Vegas.
Yes.
If you don't have a loyal following, you will not survive, period. If you can't get repeat customers, you will not survive in this city. Mm-hmm. So if you're not training your employees to care about your customers, you're failing.
Yes.
Before you can even get started.
Yes.
I cannot emphasize that enough. There's a Pho Kim Long down on Spring Mountain that absolutely crushed it during COVID. I think they did more business during COVID than any other time.
Really?
I think.
Good
Don't quote me on that. I'm still working on getting them on the show. But they have such a loyal following, and they crushed the to-go service. Their to-go service killed it during COVID because they have quality food and a very loyal repeat customer base.
Yeah.
So, look, we've picked up some really bad habits from COVID. Mm-hmm. From a business owner standpoint, the excuses we've heard is, oh, it's just so hard to get good employees. Oh, it's so hard to hire. Oh, it's so hard to find good people, or whatever it is. Like, all these excuses. That's not true. There's a lot of great people in this city.
Yeah.
And we need to be better about communicating and connecting the good people to the good places. We need to be more considerate of, it's truly a gift when a guest walks through the front door.
Yes.
It's not just a given. It's not just something to be taken for granted.
Right.
We need to get back to smiling and handshaking and communicating. If we come from a place of fear, we're not going to greet the guest because we're too afraid.
We're too afraid. Yeah.
If we're too afraid and we're just full of fear, we're not going to smile. Mm-hmm. If we're too afraid and full of fear, we're not going to be welcoming and helpful and appreciative
Nope.
So I say, fuck the fear, move on. We are we're here, we're still here, and we're still humans. And there's so much kindness to be had in this city, but we need to re-tap back into that.
I agree.
On a mass level.
Yes.
And not to say that some businesses aren't already doing that, right? Or businesses didn't do that during COVID. There were the few, okay? Good for them.
Yeah.
So proud of you guys. You guys are amazing. Congratulations. You survived COVID and you continue to kill it. But the mass majority of businesses here in Vegas locally need to hear this.
Yes.
They need the reality check. And I'm sorry I have to be the person to do it. I really, really am.
I'm not sorry. I think you're the best person to do it.
I hate this. I hate feeling like I have to be the person to throw up all the red flags, But nobody else is doing it.
No.
I can't say I've heard anybody else have this conversation.
No. All I hear is other customers complaining. Nobody's actually saying, hey, guys, somebody from the hospitality industry with the experience that you have, this is what's happening. And if we don't change it, we're all fucked.
Yeah. It's truly my intention to be helpful. And you and I recorded your episode not long ago about inspiring change and why it's important to share your story. And I guess to some degree, this is part of my story now.
Yeah.
Me personally, as a human, as a woman who lives in Vegas, who was born and raised here, and I experienced the city before COVID, during COVID, and now after COVID. And I guess, to your point on your podcast, like my story matters too.
It does matter.
And my experiences during that time matter. My experiences now matter.
Yes.
That's hard for me to say, by the way.
I'm so proud of you.
I don't like, putting things all about me. I don't like feeling conceited, but I hope that what this can do is inspire other people who may have experienced some of the things I did to also feel a little bit more comfortable and okay with talking about it if they haven't. And I also hope that it helps business owners in Vegas to maybe really take a good, hard, long look in the mirror and say, you know what, maybe we didn't go about that quite the right way. And let's think about this. Let's make an action plan on how we could do better if ever there were a time that something like this in the world happens again.
Yeah.
Because
or even if it doesn't.
History repeats itself, Desiree.
Yes, that is true.
Okay?
That is true.
So how soon it's going to repeat, we don't know. But if it does, when it does, are those businesses really going to be ready?
Probably not.
Come on. We have to do better. This is Vegas. We are the gold standard.
Yes.
I believe that to my core. I think that the people here are incredible. We are such a unique city because of the people here. So if our people have lost their way, they need to be reminded. They need to be reminded that we are the unicorn. We can do better if we choose, and we will do better if we put in the time and effort.
Yes. That's why you have to look at conversations like this. This is not a selfish conversation. This isn't you sharing, oh, woe was me. This is, hey, community, city, look at, these are the stories that not only you're sharing, you're not the only person that had these experiences. So we need to be sharing these to spark the conversation so business owners can hear, this is what people went through. Don't make the same mistake.
Yeah, I mean, and look at the cost of it.
Right.
I haven't spent a dime with Starbucks.
Right. And how many other
it's been
businesses
4 years.
have felt that? Yeah, 4 years, no Starbucks. Wow. I haven't gone 24 hours without Starbucks, but that's not.
No, now granted, I've drank Starbucks, but somebody else paid for it.
Yeah.
I've not given a single dime to Starbucks in 4 years, Desiree.
Good for you. Good.
That is commitment, okay?
Yeah.
And I have to admit, it wasn't that hard because I was so emotionally turned off.
Yeah.
How many other people were emotionally turned off from an experience they had during that time?
And how many people are they telling about it?
Yeah, you're right. Oh, my stomach is growling.
It's lunchtime.
It's lunchtime. So I think with all of that being said, there was one restaurant in particular that didn't survive COVID, and I'm not entirely sure why, but it was Il Molino, New York at Caesar's Palace Forum Shops.
Yep.
I have a personal tie to that restaurant. A long, long time ago during college, I was a hostess there.
Okay.
So I just naturally, when you work somewhere and you realize how incredible the food, the people, the culture, all of it, you fall in love with the product as a whole.
Yeah.
And they didn't survive COVID. And I was really, really, really sad about that. And I was wondering if you had any place that you loved that didn't make it.
There was, gosh, and you know what? I don't even remember the name of it. There was a little grocer, actually, surprisingly, right down the street from my house. And it was owned, we went in there for years and talked to the owner, and he owned it, ran it, just a super nice guy. And when COVID shut down, he actually didn't survive more than 2 months after the initial shutdown. And he just said he just wasn't getting enough people business coming in. Even being just a little, convenience store, he didn't have a gas station attached to him. So he was relying on walk-in business, and he said people just aren't visiting businesses. And he was gone by the end of summer. That was a bummer, because it was, talk about a true local small business owner providing service.
Hundreds of businesses didn't survive the first, let's call it 5 months.
Yeah.
We are such an amazing community that I just know someone somewhere out there, someone out there. Oh my gosh, if I could talk.
I know. See?
Maybe can help. I have to imagine the financial planning of any mom and pop business here in Vegas is something that isn't heavily focused on.
Right.
How do we help businesses to be healthy, to survive another worldly event? Mm-hmm. Because we've had, as I think I mentioned last season, so many worldly events.
I'm tired of all these historical events happening in my lifetime.
Oh my gosh. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when.
Yeah.
There will be another worldly event at some point in time. Is your business prepared?
Right.
Are you saving money? Is your business saving money to be ready for that?
Yeah.
Business owners out there, I hope this episode really hits home for you. I hope it inspires you.
Have conversation.
Yeah.
Talk to your employees, your team members, your business partners, your friends, your family. Don't be afraid to ask, what can we do better?
And Nevada has excellent resources as well. The Small Business Administration, SCORE. There's so many resources out there for small businesses.
Yes.
In Nevada specifically. Yes. Use those people. Get a mentor. Get a business mentor if you want. There are people out there who can help and guide. And yeah, do it. Just do it.
Just do it. Yes.
We don't want to see our small businesses not surviving the next worldly event. We want to see local businesses thriving and surviving, right?
Yes.
But
yes,
mostly thriving.
Mostly thriving.
Oh my gosh.
Surviving
Desiree.
When they have to, thriving because they can.
That's right. That's right. Desiree, thank you so much for having this tough conversation with me.
Yeah, I love tough conversations. I love that you got to tell a story or two in there too. That makes me happy.
Oh God, I have a pit in my stomach still, but it's too late now. We're publishing this.
That's right.
And that's a wrap on this episode of the Vegas Strong Revival podcast. I hope you found our discussion engaging and even thought-provoking. A big shout out to all of our amazing listeners for tuning in and supporting the show, because it truly means the world to us. So thank you. Let's keep the Vegas Strong spirit alive. Share this podcast with your friends, family, colleagues, and just anyone who loves Vegas. If you have ideas, suggestions, or want to be a guest on the show, simply reach out online or feel free to text us on our super cool podcast hotline, 702-723-2343. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to the show on your favorite podcast platform so you never miss an episode. Let's keep pushing the boundaries and reviving our city's passion for authentic service together. Stay strong, Vegas.